So I'm just making this quick video as Saturn is leaving Libra after 2.5 years. Well, actually, almost 3 years. Saturn entered sidereal Libra in November of 2011. Now here it is November 2014. Well, it'll be November 2014 when Saturn leaves. And since Saturn went through Libra, since it entered, a lot of things changed in the way of human rights, women's rights, relationships, sexual rights, and that dialogue. I, I described that and discussed that before the transit, so I was definitely right on about that. Um, in fact, in May 2012 is when Obama came out in support of gay marriage. Not long, of course, this was not long after Saturn had gone into Libra. I just saw this, I noticed this today. I'm recording this on October 30th, a couple days before Saturn goes into Libra. Goes into Scorpio officially. And here on the front of CNN, Apple CEO, "I'm proud to be gay." Breaking news. I mean, it's pretty big news. I mean, being gay is a gift from God. Cook writes he's publicly acknowledging his sexual orientation and hopes it will help someone struggling. And then I just went down and look at all the issues that have to do with women's rights, gay rights. Look, we have this, or if not gay rights, but mainly like women's and social rights, women's causes, gay rights, or relationship issues. Women sold, raped, enslaved by ISIS. Of course, here's some oppression of women for sure. One of the big themes that was important during that transit as well was all of the rapes in India. It became a big issue, whereas before people really turned the other way in India when women were raped. They were still the victim of societal persecution, even in the courts and whatnot, where in India women were raped so much and it was still thought that it was their fault, and those things have really changed. There was some brutal rapes in India, which has really changed that dialogue. Of course, in some of the fundamentalist Arab countries, there's also some real problems with the way women are treated. And of course, now we're seeing this fringe group, ISIS, says it's brazen about enslaving Yazidi women as part of Sharia law. That's part of their terrorist tactic. They're terrorizing Arabs more than anyone else. Is to enslave the women, is to rape and enslave the women who are not following what they call Sharia law. But so we're seeing, as Saturn is leaving Libra, we're seeing these issues getting, returning to prominence in the news. There was a recent scandal with a Canadian talk show host, John Gomedi. I'm not sure how to say his name. He has an interview show called Q, where his sexual habits have resulted in a lawsuit where he's been fired. It's somewhat prominent in the news as well, and so it just kind of struck me as we're getting down to the end of Saturn going through Libra and all of the issues with women's rights that have been at the forefront for the last couple of years, that we see something like this. Apple CEO, "I'm proud to be gay," and women sold, enslaved by ISIS. There's another, you may have seen this cat call video, women in New York street harassment video. My story is not unique. If you haven't seen this, it's a viral video of a woman getting hit on. She says like over 100 passerbys spoke up with catcalls. It was just kind of a hidden video of this woman walking down the street in New York being harassed. At one point, a man follows her for about 5 minutes after, catcalling her. This is another story on the front page of CNN today. So she gets rape threats after catcall video. So I just thought it was interesting to revisit this issue, because it's definitely one that has been, or that was prominent during the Saturn transit through Libra. Social causes, and especially as it relates to women's rights, relationship rights, those kinds of things were important. And I stated that I thought they would be. But there were other important social issues as well, like, for instance, the legalization of marijuana in the state. That was another thing that happened. Again, these are all about, citizen rights and things that citizens had wanted, that were a couple pretty prominent policy shifts, I guess you would say. I mean, several states came out in favor of gay marriage. Now it's very commonplace and even acceptable and tolerated to come out and be in favor of gay rights, even if you're Republican. Although they draw the line at gay marriage, the debate has shifted so far at this point that even conservative Republican politicians are usually saying that they have no problem with people being gay, but they draw the line at gay marriage or something. But that's such a far cry from where the issue was even 3 years ago. And of course, like I said, even in India and in other areas of the world, there's been a lot more commentary on women's rights, and we see some of those things talked about here on the front page of CNN today. Another really cool thing that happened, this young girl, Monet Davis, threw out the first pitch at the World Series game a couple days ago. This is a young girl. She's like 13 years old or something, and has a 70-mile-an-hour fastball. She's been getting a lot of publicity. Pretty amazing. So we've really seen a lot of women ascending to prominence, and trying to have their value increased, at least culturally, with Saturn going through Libra. So let's hope that when Saturn goes through Scorpio, there's not a sort of backlash. This, this fundamentalist resurgence here of this ISIS group is pretty disturbing in the within the Arab world. I'm hoping that, and I think what's going to happen is the Arab world itself are going to really push back against this terrorist group, because they're really terrorizing Arabs, and this kind of thing is not going to endear them to any power structure that's going to be sustainable. As much as they may be rebelling against the West, in practice they're actually destroying their own culture from within, and this kind of policy is going to backfire and galvanize opposition against them.